So I got asked this question in general today about how to be applying effort. I'm generalizing it this way, but the full question is more like, hey, I'm at university. I need to be studying, and I know there's an exam coming up. So I know that there are things that I have to be doing, but for some reason, I find that I'm not doing those things. So how do I do the things that I set out to do? So there's a bigger writing that accompanies this video. So take a look at that writing because that explains the bigger picture about the path of life and what you're gonna end up doing with the effort. Because yes, effort is really important, but effort isn't everything, right? So beyond effort, you need to know how you're going to direct your life. And you're going to use effort as a skill at that phase, right? But because that writing primarily deals with that, after effect of effort, in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit more about how effort is this really big umbrella term that tends to be misunderstood by a lot of people. So we call making food cooking, right? But cooking encompasses so many different techniques and practices, so you have to know seasoning, you have to know how to heat up the pan, you need to know how to read the temperature, you need to know how to cook, cut, you need to know how to prepare, you need to know mise en place, and basically there's all these things accompany and aggregate to form this concept called cooking. So, can you be good at cooking? You could be an excellent knife person, but you might not have a really good job, baking things because it's a completely different skill, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it can be considered as cooking. So, just like this, effort. We feel like effort is this one skill that we need to develop. But effort, I believe, is more like an umbrella term that encompasses, for the sake of this video, three different abilities. So, going in somewhat of a chronological order, the first ability that you need to develop is the ability to start. Without the ability to start, you're not gonna really do anything. Why? Because starting requires a momentum change. You're not doing something. You're going from inaction to action. So when we ride the wave of momentum, things are always easy. It's easy to do something you feel like doing. It's easy to stop something you don't feel like doing anymore. But that contrasting momentum is what's difficult. So when you go from a static position to starting something, this is hard. When you're in it, when you're in the zone, you're like, you started playing a game to unwind, and then, it's getting late. It's like nearing 1 a.m., but then you lost the last round and you want to end the night on a good run. So you go for, queue for another match. Difficult to stop, right? So in terms of effort, a primary skill that you need to know how to develop is the ability to start. But many people want to rationalize this part. Many people want to understand the benefit of starting something. They feel like everything needs to be understood. Everything needs to, like the pros and cons of starting, like it needs to be completely accepted. You need to intellectualize everything before you can get started. But that's not the case. Starting is just starting. So, in terms of starting, this is the most difficult part about this skill, right? There's no shortcuts. There's not even a long cut. All you have to do is just start. So actually, developing the ability to start is more like developing the ability to short circuit your excuse making and rationalizing and just starting. Again, I'm not arguing this is easy. That's why it's a skill that you need to learn how to develop. It's a skill that you need to teach yourself. So, before anything, the first step, the first skill that you need to develop as part of effort is the ability to start. Secondly, what you need to develop is the ability to maintain focus. You're writing something. for example, right now, I'm 5 minutes into making this video. But as I'm making this video, as I'm talking about the points I'm going to be talking, I need to be thinking about, after this, I'm going to be talking about this. And after this point, I'm going to tie it back to the previous point that I made. So I'm staying conscious of the video making activity. I'm not just, believe it or not, I'm not rambling in front of a camera just because I feel like it. I do that during my lives when I'm just comfortably talking with you guys. But in a recorded video, I want to make sure that I'm continuing to maintain focus on topics that I'm going to be communicating to you about, right? So for you, you're going to start. You're going to start doing it, and then you're gonna be distracted, right? Man, the thing is, this is not a bug. This is not a problem. This is just a feature. This is just how the mind works. So, a skill that you need to develop is, how long can you go without being distracted? And this is the ability to sort of like maintain focus, right? So right now, I have other things. I have a phone in front of me. My dog is over there, and I hear a microwave going on outside. So there's a lot of things going on. The humidifier is working behind me. A lot of things going on, but I'm able to stay focused on this, talking about this video, because that's something that I actively put a lot of time in developing, right? So as you are writing your essay, you're gonna be alt tabbing a lot to look at your references. But then out of muscle memory, you're gonna alt tab, and then you're gonna go to Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And then you're gonna lock the computer, go out for a cigarette smoke, and then you open your phone up, and then like haha, and then again like 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes pass, and then you come in and like fuck. And now you need to do the starting again. So you see, this is the story this is a story of how everybody engages with effort. But if you know how to start, as soon as you notice, oh wait, I need to be starting, you can go into it. And when you go into it, when you know how to maintain focus, you can keep going until you meet this distraction. And you're going to increase that amount of time. At first, you're going to be distracted after the first minute or two. And then you're going to need to start again. At first, you're going to maintain it up to 3 minutes, and then you're going to get distracted. But it's okay. You're going to know how to start again, right? So this ability to start, maintain, start, maintain, start, maintain, start, maintain. This is important, right? So that's the second skill. The third skill is the ability to pursue. We get distraught. We get disappointed with ourselves when we find that we are not really living up to the standards that we set for ourselves. Not being able to apply effort is kind of like a universal human experience. So it only becomes a problem when we expect that we need to be focused and we need to be applying effort. But the thing is, in many other areas of our life, we are very much able to do things without exerting a lot of effort, really difficult things without exerting a lot of effort. Effort is, by definition, required to do something that you are not feeling inclined to do. So effort is hard by definition. It's by design. But the thing is, we get discouraged because we have this high expectations on ourselves, thinking that we need to keep progressing. And we need to be able to to be laser focused. That's good. And in this video, I'm actively talking about that, right? But the ability to continue the pursuit of what you are doing basically means the ability to overcome obstacles again and again, overcome distractions again and again and again, but continue without being distraught. And this ability is, at first, you're going to develop it over, if your school is done in terms of quarters, you're going to develop the ability to pursue something over a period of a quarter. If your school is doing semesters, it's going to be one semester. if you're doing if you're working in a corporate environment and you guys go by fiscal quarterly or whatever, then it's going to be quarterly, and your annual performance review you're going to need to do annually, right? But we many times we start something and then we feel like it's not going well, but we keep on pivoting, we keep on pivoting, we keep on pivoting. So I'm not saying pivoting is bad, but if the only thing we do is pivot, we never really give ourselves the chance to learn what happens when we push this to the end. Many of us have a negative outlook on ourselves because we never finish something. I always thought I was a never finisher too, and that used to make me feel really, really bad. But on one hand, I learned how to accept that, hey, like I do complete a lot of things, and it's fine not finishing the things that I don't want to do. But on another hand, I also did learn how to finish really difficult things. These two things hand in hand have made me very more confident and trustworthy for myself. I believe in myself because I've shown up for myself. I followed through on myself time after time, right? But at first, you're going to pursue something till the end in this defined amount of time, right? But over time, you're going to learn how to maintain that pursuit for a prolonged amount of time. This is how big projects get done, right? I talk to a lot of people, and everybody has at least one form of a big life project that they want to work on. For many people, this happens to be how to write a book. But filmmakers and the book writers, novel writers, and there's like people who write multi series, right? And people who want to document videography, and and people who want to draw like really big pieces. These are things that require a prolonged amount of sustained effort. And in order to get to that stage, you need to foster and cultivate the ability to pursue something, even after you get distracted multiple times. You don't let yourself get wavered down. You don't let yourself pivot, and you keep going. Yes, some things in life you will pivot, but it is important at the same time to learn and keep giving yourself the chance to pursue something. So, in summary, effort is this big umbrella concept that encompasses many things. If you find that applying effort is hard, it's because you're probably thinking in terms of too big of a thing. It's too abstract. It's too vague. So the three specific things that I would focus on if I'm developing the ability to, if I'm reliving my life and I'm relearning effort, I would teach myself, number one, skill, how to start. Number two, skill of maintaining focus, and skill of pursuing. But I would argue that the starting part is the hardest, but the starting part is also the simplest because you don't need anything. You just need to start. It's so hard to do that. But at the same time, there's no other requirement but to start. So it is my encouragement to you to start today. Now, what if you're not going to school? What if you're not working? And what if you want to work on these things in general without really being bound to anything? That's a really good thing to do, right? And just for that, I recommend you the Buddhist practices. You don't need to do the 5 a.m. wake up at 5 a.m. to do 100 bows things that I do. You can do it with meditation or mantra recitals. I explain all about Buddhist practices that help you foster these abilities in the video description.